Okay, so there has been a lot of talk, including our very own viewers, about a national no-fly list for unruly passengers on planes. So far, in the first 6 weeks of this year, nearly 500 cases have been reported to the FAA for a total of more than 6,400 since the start of 2021. Now, in response, Delta CEO is pushing the federal government to create a comprehensive list that would keep unruly passengers off any commercial airline. But now some GOP senators are pushing back, saying the list would result in a severe restriction on citizens' constitutional rights to travel from state to state. So DBL Nation, we always want to hear from you. Is a national no-fly list for unruly passengers, in your opinion, a good idea or not? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. Tori, you're always about the Constitution, freedoms. What do you think about this?
It's weird for me to go against the ACLU because they are against this. They think that needs to be a process for getting off of the no-fly list. There's also been some racial components to a no-fly list, like the Muslim ban after 9/11. But I am for this, and I find this has no constitutionality at all. When you say I can't travel from state to state, get in a car, get in a train, get in a sailboat, walk. I don't have a right to an airplane. That's a privilege. And I have to act a certain way with morality because I'm in a community.
But if you do fall under the discrimination portion of that, which there's plenty of cases like that in the history? How do you decipher between the ones that are just and the ones that are unjust?
Now, the one thing I do need to say, and that's fair for you to say, is what does unruly mean? That needs to be really clear.
That's a good point.
Because it's not just I'm yelling at someone. Is it physical? Is it not? Is it I approach the cockpit? And it needs to know, how do I get off the no-fly list? Is it a 3-year? Is it all life? Is it I'm a terrorist from now on? But if that can be made crystal clear, I don't see a constitutional crisis at all in this.
I don't know why are we talking about the Constitution? Aren't we talking about private businesses? I mean, the movie Casino, Joe Pesci was banned from every casino. You can be 86th from every bar in your neighborhood. You can be banned from a stadium for fighting.
You can't compare.
It absolutely is not essential.
Yes, it is. For many people, flying is absolutely essential. You can't compare flying. I get your point, but to Joe Pesci going to casinos.
Some people would say I play cards for a living. I would say that that's actually more important than flying. When the pandemic was in its full throes and I could not fly because I didn't feel comfortable going to see my kids or talking to you guys, I drove from here to California, and it was breaking my spirit, but I did it because flying was not a right I had. It was a privilege, and I chose not to exercise that privilege, just as they have that right to not exercise my privilege to be on their plane. They're a private company.
Yeah, I'm all for this ban. I think it would deter a lot of people, right? Do you want to be on that no-fly list? I suggest you sit down, right? It's a deterrent, but also, where are we in society that every single rule we have is questionable? You got caught smoking weed when you're not supposed to smoke weed. Well, it's just weed. Well, they told you can't do that, so don't do that. Don't act like this on an airplane. There's consequences to pay. I don't think it should be a lifetime ban, but 3 years. If you use your driver's license, you're taking a train, a Greyhound. You're going to learn a lesson from the way you act.
But unfortunately, there's people that abuse their power, whether it's somebody that's handing out warrants or tickets for marijuana or whether it's a flight attendant. First and foremost, though, the flight attendants I do worry about.
Yeah, me too.
We need to protect them.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the ban because I think it's a slippery slope when it comes to discrimination and what is that fine line? What are the rules? However, if you hit them with a very hefty fine, you better believe that is going to be just as big as a deterrent without
But it's not been a deterrent. People are still happening.
Fine.
I just.
But what if there's look what's happened to so many Muslim families in the past that are still on the no-fly list, that are still fighting with tooth and nail with money that they don't have, with lawyers trying to get off it, because for a lot of people it is essential to fly. You can't go to certain countries by sailboat. Are you kidding me?
Right,
really?
but it's not in the Constitution that I get a right to fly at any point. I mean, that is ridiculous kind of opponent to it. What I do agree with you is there should be an independent investigation into each one, because it can't be.
But who's going to pay for that, Tori? That's not a realistic thing.
Take away a big bomber from one bomber and get $1 trillion in help, because the flight attendants and pilots are at risk.
That I agree with. I would agree. And
Sam,
we got to get to the next.
Nothing happens in this country until there's a tragedy. Until one of these crazy people goes for the door and gets it.
That's why that's why I agree with her that a no-fly list is okay if there's an independent team investigating each case. Yes, you have a smirk on your face.
No,
what?
I was just going to make fun of Tori for big bomber.
Yeah. Yes, a big bomber. And there's no independent team.
Well, let's.
If we get one big bomber. It's
At least we're all in agreement that
mankind.
if there is an independent investigation, then fine.
We're comfortable with it.
Yes, because we want to protect the pilots, the passengers, and those poor flight attendants. Stop smirking.
And capture those big bombers.
Okay. There's more to this story, though, because according to CNN, the vast majority of unruly passenger cases, well, related to face masks. That's 72% of cases in 2021. Now, Texas is suing the government over its federal mask mandate on airplanes and in airports. So just yesterday, a passenger aboard Allegiant Airlines was reportedly kicked off his flight. He had allegedly written the words "Let's go Brandon" on his mask and refused to change it after being asked by a flight attendant. So the question is, should mask mandates on planes end? And would this help solve the problem of unruly passengers? Now everything's shifting in my mind.
I am not being held hostage by people who can't have the common courtesy to take a little sacrifice at all. I am not putting up with the jerks because I want safety. I think it's
Who are the jerks in your
the
opinion?
jerks are the people who don't want the masks. And if you're saying, well, let's get rid of the mask mandates, then you're literally being held hostage by people that don't want to protect your grandmas. And that's not going to happen to me.
But that's not they're not obligated to protect your grandmother. They
If there's a
feel
mandate,
just as
there sure
strongly.
is.
Clearly, if we've learned nothing, they feel just as strongly as you do about the masks. What this all should come back to is, what does United Airlines, what does American Airlines feel about this? Because they're the ones that's going to suffer if it's shown that there's an outbreak on a plane and they can track that back. Their business is going to be at the top of DBL when we start talking about it. Their flight attendants are going. I have had flights canceled because they did not have enough crew. So we are talking about business. I always tell you, Jeff, we always talk off camera. It's business. Everybody wants to get this emotional. My grandmother missed me with that. Not you. I love you.
I love you.
But I'm saying I'm saying this is money. If you're affecting my money, I can't make money if I don't have flight attendants. I can't make money if I don't have pilots. That's what this comes down to me personally.
What about the spread?
What about the ethics
Really?
of it? Right.
The spread affects your money.
But it's like, what
Absolutely.
about the ethics of it?
I care about somebody's grandmother. I actually care. That actually motivates me.
Right.
To say, okay, even though I believe in wearing a mask to protect myself and my family, I actually care about your family, about a stranger's family, about your autoimmune compromised child.
Right.
I care about
Right.
protecting my neighbor. And I think a lot of people do too.
And do the airlines not? Are you saying that they don't care? Is it all about money?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I just think we're taking a small percentage of people that are jerks, right? And we're highlighting them. I think the majority of people, us up here, I think a lot of people out there, you shovel your driveway. You help your neighbor shovel their driveway. It's not because you have to. You put a mask on because everyone is asking you to put a mask on. And then there's a couple of people that, of course, you want to spark up a conversation. Let's go, Brandon. You write on your mask. You're being a jerk,
Which
man.
I didn't think
You're
that was
being
okay.
a jerk.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a few amount of people, but they're ruining it for everybody.
Yeah, I thought the "Let's Go Brandon" was egregious. I think you should be able to wear that.
He has First Amendment rights there. That's going to go to the Supreme Court. I promise you that.
Wow. All right. Well, let's see what
He
our
does. He's
viewers
right.
say. 93% of you. Whoa. 93%. You guys agree that you should actually have
To my point.
The no-fly list.
and does that apply to the mask mandate too?
7% of
or
people
just
voted
the
are
no-fly
jerks.
list.
only the unruly passengers becoming on the no-fly list?